we're going to talk about crafting your brand story through uniqueness. Hello, my darlings. I hope you're all doing fantastic as we're walking into this journey of personal branding. Welcome back. And today we are on our fourth episode, I guess, and we're going to talk about crafting your brand story through uniqueness, confidence, grit, and authenticity. And I'd say that, every powerful brand has a story. Every powerful brand that you know there has a story. It's not just a script. Your story is not what happened to you. It's what has shaped you, how it has brought you until the place that you are, or even being the person that you are. It's about the pain. It's about the lessons, the experiences, the wins, the losses, the moments you thought probably that broke you. Those are the exact things that make your brand unforgettable. Today, darlings, we're going to dive on how to craft your brand story with confidence, with grit, with authenticity. And because, no one can obviously duplicate your journey. So what is a brand story? So a brand story isn't just your biography, it's the narrative. It's the narrative that communicates who you are, what you've overcome, and what you want to do, or even what you do, or how you do it, and how your audience as well can see themselves in you. So it's the bridge. I'll say it's the greatest bridge between your humanity and your brand identity. So darlings, without wasting time, we'll look on the five parts of the framework for crafting your brand story. And even before I say that, let me say that we can possibly give a good meaning of a brand story. So a brand story is the emotional heartbeat of your brand. It will always be at the peak of it, and where it's all about where your purpose meets your personality. And so let's dive into the five frameworks. And the very first one, it's the origin, about where you started. So bear in mind that this is how to go about, crafting your story behind trying to create that personal brand that's very powerful. So the origin, where you started. Nobody ever forgets where they started. I know some of us don't like going back to those spaces, but it's very important. You need to share your beginnings honestly, not perfectly. Other people are kind of like held back because they feel they want perfection. I'm one of those people that have really struggled with perfection, although I've really come a long way with it. But has nothing to do with perfection. Just go out there and just be who you are. It's also about what sparked your journey or even your calling. So maybe you'd say, maybe you're a confidence coach. So you would say that you didn't just start being a confidence coach, but you started as someone probably who had low self-esteem, doubted your worth. You have to be relatable before being inspirational. Other people, they want to be more inspirational, but people have to relate with you before they even get to the point of being inspired by you. So number two, it's the struggle, which is the conflict. Talk about the challenge, the setbacks, the identity crisis that has kind of like tested you all along in your journey. So this is going to build your connection and humanity. So you would probably say that, like there was a season probably you almost gave up, you felt unseen, unworthy, unwanted, but that became the moment when you realized that you needed to show up for yourself first. So you have to have that courage to come out and show the conflicts and the struggles that you've gone through before being the person that you become. So the third one is the turning point, which is the shift. So the decision or even the revelation that you got, so that you got to a point where you were able to change your trajectory. So this is more like your bulb moment, or if you want to call it your aha moment. So when your purpose began to align, you have to give that story. That's what's going to build, to build your brand story. and it's going to be, very authentic and all that. So let people know how probably you never felt validated or even visible, because a lot of us struggle with visibility. And talking about visibility, that's going to be our next episode, visibility and platforms. So until when you realized or you got the clarity of who you are or who you want to be. The fourth one is the transformation, which is the growth. Show how you evolved when you're crafting your brand story. What habits, the mindset, and what faith helped you rise. People want to hear those stories. So you need to highlight grit. And grit comes with resilience, comes with perseverance, comes with lessons learned, the mistakes, what you learned, the mistakes that you did and what you learned from that. So let people know about that. Those are the things that are going to craft your brand story. So it's a lot of us struggle with brand crafting your brand story, because you're thinking about that mega story that it's gonna probably wow people. But no, it's the simplicity of it, because everybody has a story and it's all unique, and we all want to hear stories, right? So the fifth one, it's the vision, where you're going, your future you need to end with a purpose and direction. What is your mission now? What do you stand for? Why does your brand exist now? So you have to let them know. How have you been able to reclaim it, and where is it going? So the vision is very important. And yeah, I think those are the five, frameworks that can help you craft your brand story. So now let's go into weaving in uniqueness, grit, confidence, and authenticity. And I'll start with uniqueness. Your uniqueness is not what you do, is how you do it. Identify your brand DNA, your personal brand DNA, and that is going to consist of your personality, your tone of voice, your values, your energy, your story blend. And energy is very important here. So when people say you, what kind of energy do they get from you? So you get my point, right? So no one can copy your lived experiences. That's why I said you need to tell your authentic story, because nobody can copy that. And that's your brand gold. Your story is your unfair advantage. As much as probably it's going to start with sadness and all that and failures, it is going to be your winning thing here. So let's look into the confidence, right? So confidence is in branding is not loudness, and I think a lot of us confuse confidence with being loud. Being loud, or everywhere you go, you're walking in the rooms, you want to be the loudest person there. You're on social media, you want to be the loudest. There's a difference between being loud and confidence. Yeah, so I'd say that confidence adds certainty in who you are, and you need confidence also come from a place of speaking your truth, not from comparison or even competition. And again, we kind of like confuse confidence with competition. So you want to compete with this person, you want to compete with the other person. So let me say that when you own your story, you remove the power of shame and fear, and you empower other people, because there's so many people out there who've got a lot to offer. They can build, a strong personal brand or even a business brand, but they do not have that confidence in them. But it's because of probably you stepping up and, having to do your thing without fear. You're going to encourage them. So let me talk about grit. So grit is your story's backbone. It's the moment you refuse to quit. You keep on going. It doesn't matter what's coming your way. So you need to show kind of like the behind scenes, or sometimes they're very shy with that. The behind scenes resilience, that's how I would call it. It's the night you cried. You can, tell a story of that. The lessons that stretched you. So the moments you kept on going anyway, you didn't quit. That is great. So your scars are not about shame. They are your strength. Unfortunately, kind of like society has kind of tried to let people, kind of like step back a bit in showing their struggles and all that, because people feel like it's more associated with shame, but it has nothing to do with shame. It has everything to do with gaining your power back, and that is your strength. So let's look on authenticity. how can you weave in your brand crafting? So authenticity is being the same person on and off camera. And I think there's an episode I talked about the person that you are off camera is the person that needs to be seen as well on camera. There is no faking. You need to show up with authenticity. It's not perfection. Unfortunately, some of us, kind of like think authenticity as being perfect has nothing to do with perfection. It has everything to do with presence. You have to be in the present moment. You need to show up. So your story becomes very powerful when it's told from the truth, not by performing. And authenticity is saying it's not about totally pouring everything out there, because there are some things that you need to leave for your privacy and all that, but it's saying what's real. I'm not saying that you go out there and throw everything on the table. No, but you need the wisdom and the knowledge and the awareness to know what needs to be said, what needs to be so you need to say things that are going to empower other people. People are going to learn from it, all right, not embarrassing yourself. So let's look on the 5 practical brand, mapping tools that we can use. So I have something I call a story mapping tool, and using this simple framework, it can help you build, craft your brand story. So we have 3 sections. So we have first section, then we have the prompt, and we have the examples. So that's what I'm going to share. So the section is about origin. So, and the prompt here has to be like, where did your journey begin? So you have to tell us from zero to clarity, and a lot of fear. And the other thing is struggle. So these are the practical brand story exercise that you need to practice, so that you need to involve as you're building your brand and crafting your brand story. So what are the struggles? So what are the challenges that shaped you? So did you shrink from making others feel comfortable? Did you feel unworthy? Did you feel undeserving, blah blah blah, all those kind of things you need to show. You need to are going to help you to map out. So what was your turning point? So what moments shifted everything? When people come to read your brand story, let them know when you shifted and what made you that. What was your aha moment? The transformation. So what growth or even challenge or even change happened, so that you can have the confidence to start running things the way you're running them, or even building your personal brand and all that, and investing in yourself, and accelerating and blah blah blah. So the other thing is the vision. So what's your brand mission now? This is it's key, and I always emphasized. You need to see your future you. People need to know, when I come to work with you, or when we want to give you a certain position, what is your mission? What mission do you have as a brand? Remember, we're all working as brands. It doesn't matter whether you don't think like you are, but you are a brand, you yourself. So my darlings, I think I'd say that your brand story is your power story. It's not about being perfect. It's about being real. It's showing up. It's about grit and authenticity. There's one thing I know, that when you tell a story with confidence, with grit, authenticity, you give other people permission to do the same. You empower them. And your uniqueness is your brand. And your resilience is your credibility. And your authenticity is your magnet. And also consistency. So when you do craft your story, you need also consistency. And I think I'm going to talk about that on our 5th episode, right? So because consistency is the new currency, has nothing to do with the likes or anything. It's about consistency. So darlings, before I even end, let me give you something that you should do. So I want you to write your 5-part brand story using the story mapping tool I've given there, right? I've talked about. And also, end with this declaration that my story is not my shame, it is my strategy. My story is not my shame, it is my strategy, because that is what is going to be your guiding thing. It's your key thing here. And I would also, be very happy to read a line of your story in the comment section or even in the community post, so that probably maybe you can even inspire myself and even inspire other people. So until next time, I'm wishing you a lovely week ahead, and see you on our 5th episode when we're going to talk about visibility and platforms. Bye.